Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we will be analyzing Homecoming by Lenrie Peters. First, we will be looking at the title, then read the poem, then analyze it stanza by stanza. Let's look at the title. Homecoming, it's when you're returning home. It's supposed to be a big event, or a high school party like the ones shown in films and shows. So, when you look at the title, you may think of all the festivity surrounding the main characters. This image is shattered when you read the poem, as we will see now. The present reigned supreme like the shallow floods over the gutters, over the raw paths where we had been. The house with the shutters. Too strange the sudden change of the times we buried when we left the times before we had properly arranged the memories that we kept. Our sapless roots have fed the windswept seedlings of another age. Luxuriant weeds have grown where we led the virgins to the water's edge. There at the edge of the town just by the burial ground stands the house without a shadow lived in by new skeletons. That is all that is left to greet us on the homecoming after we have paced the world and longed for returning. Coming to the analysis, throughout the poem I will be following the theory that some superior, sophisticated nation has colonized the land the persona and his fellows belong to. The present reigned supreme. There are two puns, present and reigned. Present could mean the present situation, and it could also mean gift. I'll take the latter, since the gift colonizers gave is probably sophisticated technology, hence the aspect of superiority is also catered through it. Reigned could also have been used to show the rain, perhaps indicating the natives could not escape. Like the shallow floods over the gutters. Shallow floods could mean the water covering everything, but not causing destruction. Hence, it could show that the gift given was able to bring a difference in appearance, but the mindsets of the locals remained the same. The persona uses the word gutters to describe the cultural items, which were perhaps thought of uncultured and unsophisticated by the colonizers. Over the raw paths where we had been. The phrase raw paths may be symbolic of originality, uniqueness, and purity, simultaneously symbolizing old practices consisted of hard, honest labor, and little to no technology. At the end of the line we see the only comma in this stanza, for it may indicate the persona is feeling nostalgic at the moment, recollecting the traditions and practices that no longer exist. The house with the shutters. This could show that the natives, along with their land, were glad to have been hidden from the superior race, for it not only gave a feeling of privacy, but also made them aware they are in control of themselves. Too strange the sudden change. The adjective strange may show the persona cannot comprehend if the change is good or not since it's so sudden. The word sudden may also indicate the change was forced onto the natives, they had no say in anything. Of the times we buried when we left. Through this line, we may deduce that the times were not dead, they were very much alive, reflecting a tone of guilt. This burial of tradition and culture led to the birth of foreign innovation in their land. The use of the verb left may enhance the sense of guilt, for the persona might feel responsible for the change since he did not stay and rebel against it. The times before we had properly arranged, the memories that we kept. These lines may indicate the persona and his fellows were living in the present, carefree of what may come, which is why they did not arrange their memories. Their past consists of both negativity and positivity. And since they did not arrange them, their memories are ghostly, just fleeting, dreamy images, haunting the persona, as we see throughout the poem. The period at the end of the line may highlight a sense of hopelessness. Our sapless roots have fed. This line itself is problematic. Can you identify the problem? Sap is the life's blood of a plant, and the sapless roots have fed, showing exploitation of various kinds from the natives, through their land, people, livestock, and other things. The windswept seedlings of another age. The seedlings may represent the potential for growth the foreigners have that the natives do not, emphasized by the phrase another age, reflecting the advanced way of living they have adopted. Moreover, the adjective windswept, used to describe the seedlings, may highlight the weak relations of these foreigners with their respective culture, thus movement from one place to another, changing their way of living from time to time is so easy for them. Luxuriant weeds have grown where we led. A paradox is created by the comparison of seedlings with luxuriant weeds, exploring a parasitic image, pulling the foreigners from their higher status to the ground below. The virgins to the water's edge. The virgins could be the purity and beauties of the natives' culture and tradition, now contaminated by the outsiders. Furthermore, the water's edge may once more show the potential for growth, the opportunity taken from the virgins, by the weeds, thus the weeds have the freedom to survive, but not the virgins. They're at the edge of the town. The edge of the town may highlight not a single place is left, everything has been taken over. Just by the burial ground. The burial ground imagery makes the line ominous, perhaps indicating that is the place where people have gone to seek refuge from the foreigners, protecting the identities safe from contamination, practicing their dying traditions. Stands the house without a shadow. Note that the house is the only thing that stands when everything else has fallen. Since the persona mentions a house and not a home, we may deduce this is a structure, the only thing that has not fallen, indicating at the end, only physical structures remain and everything else dies. A lack of a shadow means there was no light to begin with, highlighting the soulless nature of the foreigners, who have plunged the natives into darkness. Lived in by new skeletons. The skeletons could symbolize a governing system introduced by the luxuriant weeds. The persona shows the new rulers as dead, perhaps indicating their opportunistic nature that has led to their inconsiderate treatment towards the natives. The period at the end may reflect dread and horror on the persona's part. That is all that is left. The use of the word all brings a feeling of sorrow. The theme of expectation versus reality is prominent through this line, as the persona longs for the beauties of his past to welcome him. To greet us on the homecoming. Unlike the title of the poem, homecoming is separated by a dash, reflecting on the distance created between the natives and their land when they were gone. The phrase greet us gives a resentful tone to the stanza, as if the persona is being mocked by the foreigners. After we have paced the world. This line creates a heroic image, like how a hero from a comic series returns home to be honored, welcomed with open arms. Since the persona says paced the world, he might have been a soldier, or a student, or gone for some other good cause. After doing such honorable things, he would want to feel loved and cherished, but he does not get any such thing. This makes the last line, and longed for returning, heartbreaking if you ask me. The satisfaction of returning home, where you can finally take a sigh of relief, is taken away. One last thing I would like to add to this overall analysis would be how when you are longing for something, you create a perception based on the recollection of memories. However, with the passage of time, things and people change. Perception of the past brings you nothing but a feeling of despair and solitude, for you feel alien to a place you once called home. The lack of pauses throughout the poem makes the reading of the poem fast-paced, perhaps highlighting the way things quickly changed. That concludes my brief analysis of the poem. Hope this was helpful. I've written down some tips for you to follow if you don't want to save stuff for last-minute preparation. I'd be happy to help you out with constructing your analysis or interpretations, so feel free to comment below. Do like and subscribe, it helps a lot. Take care, bye.